Good evening and welcome to the April 8th, 2024 City Council Roundtable meeting. I am Mayor Ross, and tonight's meeting is brought to you live using video conferencing technology provided by Zoom. Tonight's recording will be posted on the city's YouTube channel. Welcome to everyone and thank you for joining us. City Clerk Dean, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Benson.
Here.
Councilmember Watton.
Here.
Councilmember Holloway.
Here.
Councilmember Washington. Councilmember Cotton.
Here.
Councilmember Christensen.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson. And Mayor Ross.
I am here. So we know Councilmember Johnson will not be here this evening, and I believe Councilmember Washington will be a little bit late.
So for now, I'll move to excuse both Councilmember Washington and Johnson.
Second.
Been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Christensen to excuse Johnson and Councilmembers Johnson and Washington. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? And you're unanimously excused. So now we move on to our first item of business, which is to approve the agenda. And this is just for the roundtable only. And it has the three different elements on the agenda. So is there?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Christensen. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? And it's unanimously approved. So we will start with the comprehensive plan, capital facilities and utilities element. And we reviewed the draft element during the March 25th workshop, and we will begin today with continuity of public services. I believe it's at 9.2.4 of the document. So I'll turn it over to our Community Development Director, Emily Artecha, to facilitate the process.
Good evening, council members. Emily Arteche, Community Development Director. I'd like to begin with just a brief overview of what we are doing tonight with the capital facilities and utilities element. We'll go over the schedule again.
That was Watton.
We will go over the schedule and process with a brief overview. We will look at a summarization of the policies that you're going to be looking at, and then we will go into the capital facilities and utilities wrap up. If time allows, we do have.
Director, can you test your mic? Be sure it's.
Yeah, is it working?
It is now. If you can talk into it, it'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
It's Rob.
If time does allow, we also have another backup set of body of work. That's the environmental element. So you've seen this plan element update process schematic before, where community development and planning commission and council committee workshops, in addition to these roundtables, all feed in to the draft goals and policies. Since there is quite a bit of technical analysis and supporting documentation being prepared. We also have agency review, and you've seen agency review comments kind of creep up even at the committee level and the council level. And then we have final comprehensive plan adopted. So let's take a look at the schedule. Capital facilities, April 8th, that's where we're at. We have 2 more to go. We're kind of like hump day. Can we say that? Like halfway through? Does that make anybody feel good?
You can say hump day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, woohoo, you're halfway through this marathon. Not that we're racing, but it's pretty good progress. And we do hope to I do hope that we should anticipate finishing up on that first roundtable in May. So we'll update this schedule before then. Let's take a look at some of the high level standout policies that you're going to be reviewing. I've circled a few of them here. Couldn't be surprised. Water conservation, quality drinking water, establishing LOSs, underground facilities. We can dive more into that when we get into the policies. Next steps, let's just go into where we left off, 9.2.4. I've got Deanna in the back who's going to share her screen. So if any questions come up, I still have room to roam on the internet and maybe answer some. All right. So we have just been reading the goal and then allowing council members to sort through the policies. If you can blow that up a little bit, Dana. That'd be helpful. 9.2.4 is where we actually need to get off. So there's no ABC on these. We'll just go with 4. And then I'll just wait a little bit and go down sequentially. Five. 6. 7. 8. 'Kay, let's go to number 3. Goal 9.3. Provide long-term financial plans by identifying resources for the future maintenance, repair, replacement of capital facilities citywide. One. 2.
Councilor Christensen and then Councilor Cotton.
I suspect we may have the same question. It looks like it needs to be rewritten slightly.
On 2.
Yeah, because it says manage city debt to effectively blank while maintaining reserves for emergencies.
So I circled that same thing. So do you remove the word 2? Would that be correct?
Yes.
Effectively while maintaining. Councilor Cotton, did you have
That was,
same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Councilor Benson?
I think we should also include a modifier for reserves. What kinds of reserves are we wanting to maintain? I know that there are guidelines on the reserves, but maybe we need to put a modifier that reflects that we're maintaining at those guidelines.
We can identify what those are.
Well, I think
What's the word that Drew would use?
Reserves.
And the financial management policy
Required or
requisite.
What policy number?
9.3.2.
Okay.
We're going to effectively do something and maintain reserves. I was just saying that we should have a modifier in there for reserves, like required reserves or
Fiscal reserves,
say again.
fiscal.
no, it's why do you have the reserves? And there's really 3 reasons. I understand what you're saying. Some of
Sufficient
the
required reserves.
bond issues, whatever requires to have a certain amount of reserves. So there's required reserves based on some of our financial practices. There's policy reserves for operating reserves and contingency or emergency reserves. And those are really the 3, at least in my head, the 3 reserve requirements we have. We should call that out. It's not just emergencies.
So something along the lines of sufficient required reserves.
Sufficient required reserves to meet financial obligations, operating and emergency, operating and contingency reserve requirements, or policies. It's not a requirement. It's a policy of ours of how much reserve we have in those.
So we don't, my understanding was that we did have a required level of reserves for these funds that we were supposed to maintain. That there was that there was something that was prescribed, maybe from the state. I'm not sure, but, or within our own city.
There are some
So Mayor
external
Pro Tem
requirements.
Holloway? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, that would be the policy.
Yeah.
But there's also bond required reserves, so we can, in that particular instance, we'll find out what the term is and we'll add that.
Like homework assignment, go.
Could you read what you think you'd like it to say out loud, please?
Councilor Vincent?
I'd be happy with sufficient required reserves. I don't think we have to fully define what reserves are within this document, but calling out that we are taking care of our responsibilities in keeping enough in reserve.
That's not bad.
Great. Okay, let's keep going. 3. Yeah,
Oh,
3.
yeah.
Four. Five.
Mayor.
Councilor Watton?
Thank you. That one I'm a little struggling with. How can we make sure that users are paying a reasonable share of the costs? When parks largely are for the benefit of our residents, I guess I'm just struggling with that phrase. I need some help understanding whether that's something that's achievable or not.
Did you guys have address that one or something different?
I was gonna go off that one.
Okay, Councilor Christensen and then Councilor Cotton.
So the way that I had read that one is, for example, like Little League will take over lots and lots of the baseball diamonds and it has to be maintained separately. And so I assume that some of the funds that we pay towards that go towards paying for the costs that are incurred by the city. In addition, if you're gonna go out and rent, say, one of the gazebos for a birthday party, then you have to pay a certain amount to have that exclusivity. I assume that the rest would just refer to what we pay in taxes, right? But that's at least how I read it.
Councilor Cotton?
That was exactly the point I was going to raise too. Yeah. City administrator.
City Mr. Chambliss.
So currently fees are collected of sports teams that require, line striping, dirt fluffing of the baseball fields and all that grooming standards that we do. And we collect a percentage of the costs that we incur doing that. And later this year, as part of the fees study, you will decide where that level is. It hasn't been adjusted for quite some time. So we are doing a comprehensive look at all the fees in the city. And that's your privilege, is establishing, I guess, the subsidy rate, or for lack of a better word, for those activities.
Is that your,
That's my hand up.
that's your hand up?
Was that your, go ahead?
I'm just wondering. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
Okay, so I guess the struggle I'm having then is reasonable share of costs. That's not the basis under which we're making that decision. They will never pay for this. That's a subsidized service to the benefit of the community, in essence. So I would rather we say reasonable fees, and then we make that decision of what is an appropriate fee for usage, but it's not a cost basis decision. It is recouping some costs, but it'll never pay for the service provided.
So paying reasonable
fees.
fees of operating and maintaining the facilities.
For the usage.
Or to share the cost.
or to share the cost.
Counselor Christensen?
Just the one thing that I'd want to double check is because I thought that in our, when we went through FNA, I guess, was it 2 years ago, we went through and we said that for some of these fees that they did need to be related to paying towards that specific cost. So I don't know if any of that should be left in there. Do you remember that when we were talking about
In relationship to parks,
not there
There are
specifically,
other
but
fees
talking
that
about fees
absolutely
from the
are
city that are supposed to be.
cost-based fees,
Yeah.
utilities being one of them.
Mhm.
Okay, but I don't view parks in this, this is narrowly to parks. I don't view parks as the same way.
Okay.
I could be, I quite often am wrong. I could be wrong.
It could be too.
So do we know what's, okay, ensure users are paying reasonable share of fees?
They're paying reasonable fees for the usage and cost of facilities and whatever,
Operating and maintaining the facilities.
maintenance and infrastructure, yeah.
Okay. Counselor Christensen?
Sorry, I had another one on this one. So just, it states annually adopt by reference the Snoqualmie Valley School District 6-year capital facility plan and update all of that. I think I would just personally prefer that it say instead evaluate and if appropriate, adopt,
Mhm.
just so that we're not automatically rubber stamping it. Because as it's written, it's an automatic, but they do come in, they present, we're supposed to read, make sure we're fully on board.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't want to make it sound as though council's being told basically in this document that yes, they have to say yes without doing their due diligence first.
Seconded.
I would say something about evaluate and if appropriate, adopt, just so that the council retains the discretion in terms of whether they want to go forward and approve it.
At the beginning, Counselor Washington?
Yeah, in addition, I'd like to add the word review in there. Maybe review and adopt.
You already evaluate and do review?
Yeah, because I agree we should do a reasonable review before attempting to adopt.
And we have in the past held off. on
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
Sorry. We have in the past on occasion held off on adopting those fees.
Yep.
Really? Yeah,
Okay.
it was not fun.
So are we tied to review or are we tied to evaluate? Matter?
Annually review and evaluate?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was.
Well, isn't it annual, well, evaluate and review.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
Sorry. Review and evaluate are somewhat synonymous. I think it's either review or evaluate, but it's review and adopt if reasonable, the rest of it. But if you want, if you evaluate instead of review, I don't know, I'm not arguing.
Okay.
Only if you want a comma in there.
Counselor Benson?
Yeah, I think evaluate is stronger.
Yeah.
I think evaluate is stronger, and I also liked Councilperson Christensen's and if appropriate,
Yeah.
adopt.
Okay. Sounds good.
Evaluate, and if appropriate.
Counselor Benson?
Yeah, we need to drop the S on compliments in order for it to be grammatical.
Okay.
Come on, girl.
Yeah, one's a long one.
I'm still on
And
Snoqualmie Drive.
It's not an easy sentence to digest either.
Counselor Christensen,
For the second clause that says participate in jurisdictional efforts, including the Snoqualmie tribe, should it say including those of the Snoqualmie tribe? Then go on to cite essential capital.
Yeah, those are with.
Counselor Benson,
Or would it be that of the Snoqualmie tribe? Because it's talking about jurisdiction. Is it talking about the jurisdiction or the efforts?
I think it's talking about the efforts.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I withdraw.
I mean, I could also be wrong.
Well,
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, did you have your hand up? Right?
Can you repeat, Kara, what you said?
Yeah, so it states participate in interjurisdictional efforts, including the Snoqualmie tribe. But if we're talking about the efforts, then shouldn't it say including those of the Snoqualmie tribe?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want this read such that it appears we're trying to impose something on the tribe versus partnering with. We may want to put including with efforts involving the Snoqualmie tribe. Again, we had the reverse osmosis plant up there that they were trying to do, and my interpretation is they viewed that we were somewhat interfering in them trying to do that.
Okay.
I'd rather have a partnership with them than imply we're going to start trying to dictate things to them. It's wordage.
I certainly would not want to do that
Yeah.
for the sake of clarity.
Counselor Benson,
What are the jurisdictions that are being referred to here, other than the Snoqualmie tribe?
State,
or
county,
cities?
Metro.
And are we calling out the Snoqualmie tribe specifically because they are sovereign and separate from those other jurisdictions in that?
I mean, do we need it in there? Counselor Christensen?
I was just gonna say, I know that they've reviewed this particular document. Do we know if this language was what they had requested we include?
I think, I'm not sure if it should be included in that statement.
The tribe?
So just strike it?
Either that if you're going to call out one, you need to call out the majority, and that it's already a lengthy thing.
Yeah, I don't think we can make it any lengthier. That's not true. We totally could.
We are politicians.
Pseudo.
I'd be fine with striking it.
Will somebody make sure that we're not striking words that the tribe wanted in there on their behalf? Okay. How is two different than one?
Director Chambliss?
I think one is talking about placement. And I think two is talking about projects. Police stations and fire stations are also essential. So it's not just jails.
I also assume that the second one, in terms of infrastructure projects that cross city boundaries, and this could be also inaccurate, but I had envisioned that as more like water, sewer, that type
Water,
of thing
sewer.
that goes with pipes out.
Ready for the next one? Counselor Washington?
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading this. So the last part of that sentence, including safe walkable schools. So yeah, is it a safe walkable, is it safe and walkable school, or just we want to make sure the walk is safe?
Safely walkable, I think is what you're saying, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Well, it's actually the neighborhood, safe and walkable neighborhood.
Well,
Both.
that's the other, is it the neighborhood is walkable, or?
There are jurisdictions where literally our kids are walking along the ditch on it. Would you say that build this project, why the safe one?
So then we probably would want to change it to including safe and walkable schools?
I think,
Counselor Benson?
Am I reading that though?
or I think what you're talking about, it would be a change to read safely walkable schools,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
is
Mayor
I
Pro
guess
Tem
for sure.
Holloway?
Yeah.
isn't that what you're talking about?
I heard
So that-
both. I'm sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Madam Mayor, but I heard from you both.
Can I? So
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
we're not responsible for schools.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think it's surrounding neighborhoods,
Mm.
safe and walkable surrounding neighborhoods.
Okay.
To the schools, which were, whether the school itself is walkable is up to them.
Well, there's definitely some ambiguity.
State laws, specifically with the subdivision provisions, which call out the fact that we are going to do subdivision work plans. We have to do
Right, but it's not the school that we're making walkable, it's the surrounding neighborhood, and that's what the law is calling out.
Counselor Benson?
Yeah, I think safely walkable, I think that refers specifically to the walk to the school. I don't think it refers to whether or not the paths within the school are walkable.
So put your English teacher hat on,
I am,
read that sentence. and
change it to
says
safely
safe,
walkable.
Schools.
Yeah, and that's
which
not
is
what they
we
meant.
do.
That's not what they meant.
Are we going back and forth here?
I think
How
they
about-
meant
How about
safely
safe
walkable.
routes to school?
You mean ones that are walkable?
It's
Safely?
just surrounding neighborhoods. That's really what you're after, guys. It's the neighborhood surrounding the schools. We want safe
No,
and
it's the
walkable.
walk through the neighborhood. It's the walk that they're talking about. If you say safe neighborhoods, oh my gosh,
Safe and
that's a whole kettle of fish, right?
Are you suggesting taking safe out of here?
No, I'm saying, I'm suggesting changing it to safely walkable schools. Just drop the comma and add the ly to safe. That's all I'm suggesting. And I think it encompasses what Lewis was talking about.
Counselor Washington?
He's got.
I absolutely agree, but there's still some ambiguity, and I'm just going to read it, including safely walkable schools. I mean, if I'm reading this, I'm still thinking that do I want the school internally to be safely walkable, which we're not responsible for?
So
Counselor
Unless I'm reading
Christensen,
this wrong.
Counselor Cotton. See a hand.
So I guess let's take that away and not look at that. So director, are we working with the school district to meet existing and future community needs? Is this in reference to building schools?
No, we have no control of the schools.
Safe walking paths for school-age children.
Okay,
Safe
That's what she
paths
said,
for
safe
school-age children.
okay.
And safe walking path.
But it's under long-term capital facility plans, complements land use objectives. And you have to look at the overall goal of it too.
Yeah, that's what was trying to understand. Is there more primary goals than this? Okay.
Counselor Washington.
Is that potential, say, including safe and walkable paths to school?
I don't know, Cotton. And we can come up with that. Counselor
Instead of
Cotton.
paths or that, what about just using routes instead of paths or, you know,
Safe walkable route.
yeah.
Routes to school. Counselor Benson.
when you talk about the walkability of schools, you're talking about the ability for a kid to walk to school. That's what walkability with regard to schools is. And so if we say that it's
Not around the school.
no, to the school, to get the, not within the school, but to the school. Yeah, that's what saying it's, if you say that a school is safely walkable, you're saying a kid can walk to school safely. That's what it's talking about. It's not saying there's no tripping hazards within the school or anything like that. It's just talking about, can a kid walk to school safely? So if we change it to safely walkable, that does fix it. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
For safe. Or just the way it reads, safe walkable schools.
That says something else.
Quick, before he gets back.
Good decision.
There's a safe walkable routes to school, right? Is that what Councilmember Cotton you were saying? Yeah. That sounds like that would ameliorate the issue, right? Because we're talking about them getting to school, not once they get there.
Safe and walkable school access.
I don't care really.
I think
Are we
you have
getting-
to put a qualifier in.
Okay, so Counselor Christensen, what was your recommendation?
Well, I was going off of what I was agreeing with Councilmember Cotton, which was to say, and now I've lost it again, including a safe walkable route to school.
City Administrator?
The name of the grant program is Safe Routes to School.
Done.
I knew that.
Safe route, safe path.
How about safe routes to school? Does it need the word walkable in there?
Safe walkable.
Will it
route.
help us with grant funding?
That's for Washington.
So safe walkable routes, is that what I heard? Schools.
Walkable, what?
Walkable safe routes to school.
Walkable safe routes to school?
Safe
s-
routes to school. Sounds good to me. I'm with it.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
yay.
Really?
One.
Just going back to the goal, can we just,
Counselor Christensen?
oh, sorry. Going back to the goal, can we just remove the it's so that it would read protect and preserve significant investment in infrastructure? Instead of protect and preserve its significant investment.
Yeah, it's great.
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
So while it is in our interest to do this and offer it, it being in our UG is by definition outside of our jurisdiction. So we can't enforce it. It would be, and not barely encourage it. It would be the county would have to encourage it. We would say, yo, we'll hook you up. And maybe even give you a discount because it's a good thing to do because your septic system is coming down our creek. But I don't know that we would actively go out there and talk to those members of the community to say, we want you off your septic and onto our sewer. You, huh? Yeah, go ahead.
City Administrator?
You may, I mean, I totally get the regulatory side of things, but there may be a situation where you do target an area. You may not know which one's failing, but you know you're getting E. coli readings
Oh, yeah.
in your well. So you may just make a deal to the whole block saying, look, come all in to try to target the issue that way if you can't nail it down. Although they're very good at nailing that down, but.
Counselor Benson?
Yeah, that's an issue that we do have to deal with when those septic systems fail and we end up getting higher levels of contaminants in our riparian area and in our creeks. And they were talking about it with the river testing that only gets tougher. But I wonder if we want something in here that reflects how we make it easier for people to connect to this to sewer rather than be on septic, like the kinds of projects where the hookups are made more easily accessible should somebody decide to join the sewer when we're redoing pipes in general. You know what I'm talking about, right, Mike?
City Minister Chambliss?
But the word support before replace solve that problem?
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
Well, he did a sidestep on me, and I'm still digesting it. Because the example provided isn't urban growth area. It's where city services are impacted. And yes, we should. What is written here, though, that is we should go out and focus on the urban growth area, irregardless of impact to city services. Nothing in here says city services. But I think we should encourage and support, yes. We just have no enforcement and no influence other than if it is impacting services, then we've got a legal basis to go do something.
Counselor Benson?
Can you just explain the distinction that you're talking about?
The example he gave was if we are seeing impact to our water sources,
Right.
then yes, we have a basis to go talk.
That one I understand.
Go
That's
talk to-
happening in like unincorporated King County areas that are near the city and people can hook up to.
You bet, but the fact that
but
they're
you're talking
unincorporated
about-
or inside,
You're saying that this
Are
is
we having
referring
a
to something different.
Conversation here. Counselor Benson, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm asking it.
asking
Yeah.
clarification.
I'm asking what he was talking about.
This is a different one that says, in essence, we're going to go to those urban growth areas. This is a geography thing versus a service impact thing as written here. Okay, so the example given was a service impact. So I'm not sure the applicability there. I do agree that we ought to support and encourage the geography around us to come onto our sewer system just for reduction of E. coliform and other things that failed septic systems do. So I agree with that. This is reading as if we will go out and canvas and try to enforce outside of our jurisdiction.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
some of it may not be as accessible, right? Especially if it's in the middle of the urban growth area.
Just for our discussion, it's
Right.
this is not more than 50% population.
So are we fine with encourage and support?
Yeah.
Start with?
I'd like to circle back. Over my presentation. So circle back to nine. And that was brought up at the regional centers. They asked us to change that. Page,
I remember that discussion.
yeah, page.
No.
We need to scroll to 9.1.
To local versus regional?
No, it's just.
9.1.3.
Yeah. Look, go to 9.1. Strike out the regional and local centers.
Councilor Martin?
So that would suggest that we'd have more than one local center. Is that the intent? Because in my mind, I can think of, if we say local centers, I can think of historic downtown. I can think of Center Boulevard. I can think of the hospitals, kind of, and the mill site and Betterwood. Yeah, that they become local centers.
Councilor Christensen?
I thought when I'd read the comment on that, that they were wanting us to change it from being a regional center, so like beyond Snoqualmie to just like the more local. That's what I had understood that to be, but I don't know if that's accurate either.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
Meaning we're not a candidate for a regional center?
That was the way I read it. They said, based on the location of Snoqualmie and existing regional centers, local investment may be better suited for local centers. So they said to include a policy to prioritize investments in local centers consistent with the MPP, whatever.
I guess
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
I'd meet them halfway and say regional/local, because I'm not willing to say we're never a candidate for a regional center.
Okay.
Well, it's a total.
Right, so this element will be updated with your changes and will be reviewed at the April 22nd council meeting. We have the next one, the economic development element.
this one. Offer diverse.
Counselor Cotton?
Was there a particular reason to specifically list out these three? I mean, I know there's always been talk about more restaurants, but grocery stores, pharmacies, because we do have a pharmacy downtown. So I just was wondering if there was, because then you're leaving out a lot of other things too.
Yeah, they were specifically called out as the. Stores that are.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
But there was a drugstore there. And then there was a former, I can't pronounce it right, formulary or whatever.
No,
That was there at one time. Compounding pharmacy, and
Formulary.
they didn't, I'm not in the business. That's why I looked at him. So by calling it out, hasn't the market said that's not a good place for it because it didn't survive? I'm making an assumption that there was a good business there. It just wasn't getting the business to survive. So why am I trying to force another one there? I'm not trying to if somebody wants to do it, go for it. But I don't know that I would want to try and force that over something else.
I'm sure exactly what that.
How about if we just get rid of the including grocery stores, pharmacies, and restaurants? Because we
Yeah.
might find other types of businesses that we want. And it still kind of covers
can we just say retail and restaurant?
retail and other things in the wording beforehand. Counselor Watton?
And well, I can appreciate 1A. I think we collectively have put a preference on locally based, independently owned businesses because at one time we looked at having an outside organization come recruit national firms, and we decided that would not be the best choice. So even though we do have some larger businesses on the ridge, I think our preference is towards locally based, independently owned businesses, whether it's downtown or on Center Boulevard. And that would be my only comment. I mean, it's not to say that we're going to preclude a business from moving in, but our preference is for smaller, locally owned businesses.
And so you're suggesting expanding the area, because right now it refers to downtown historic.
Yeah.
To locate in, how about just in Snoqualmie,
In Snoqualmie.
period? Does that work? And then getting rid of the rest of it afterwards.
No, what? I'm still not done. Meaning if
Who's
the,
talking? Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
meaning that if the surfboard company wanted to come, as you were talking, or wakeboard company wanted to open up a manufacturing facility, we wouldn't want that?
Hmm.
And well, this says we're specifically going to recruit smaller businesses. So I'm, unless there's something that balances it out that says we're going to also recruit.
There's something to.
Counselor Christensen?
So
It's
B though
retail.
doesn't specifically call out the smaller scale locally based and independent owned businesses. It just says recruit businesses that will capture the greater share. So I don't think that we're limited in that. We're supposed to, yeah, we're supposed to encourage in A, the smaller or the diverse range of smaller scale locally based. But B is silent to which types of businesses, whether they're large or small, and just hoping that they will capture that spending on
Cons-
retail goods.
Counselor Benson?
B, it doesn't say it, but it seems to me that B is specifically referring to retail, right? It doesn't say retail, but
Retail goods,
Retail goods and
yeah,
services.
retail goods and services.
there you go, retail goods and services. So I don't know that B speaks to what you're talking about with recruiting other businesses that might be larger employers or. Hockey and swimming too.
What about walking?
It's a different league.
Hiking boots, maybe bikes, school, bike, not like, what would you need? For retail level to,
For bathing suit hockey.
well, that's cool.
Right? Yeah, horses for
Here we
water
have it.
polo.
Counselor Watton?
So if we go back to the title of this section, I think it kind of sheds light because it's retail needs of residents is called out, but it's also calling out recruit. So we say recruit businesses that meet the retail needs of residents. And then 1B says recruit businesses. And I'm almost thinking that what we should do so that it's not complicated, we just strike B.
Counselor Washington?
Yeah, I don't mean to jump ahead in this, but I'm just looking at F and, it seems like F captures kind of what, at least what I'm thinking when I'm thinking about broadening the portfolio here, right? So strategically recruit businesses based on the features of individual vacant, commercial and industrial spaces. So that seems like it answers kind of building a broader business-based portfolio here for me.
True. Counselor Benson?
The key element of B that I think is worth capturing somewhere is the idea of getting residents to spend more of their money in town.
Right.
That's the key
Right,
concept
I agree
in
with
there that I think we need to hold on to and make sure it's reflected
Yeah.
somewhere within A through I,
Okay, I withdraw.
maybe multiple times. I don't know.
Counselor Washington?
I know, I agree with Councilmember Benson that making, B seems like the highlight there is making Snoqualmie more economically viable. An economically viable city where residents can live and shop. Same here.
That's, I think we're going to need to adjourn because we have about 5 minutes before we have to start the council meeting.
Is that kind of?
No, I think we all said that we
The other
hated
one
B.
is the- why isn't that?
No, I think we need to, why don't we pick up on B?
That,
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Christensen, second by Councilor Cotton. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed,
Aye.
nay? Okay, we are adjourned.
I agree.
All right. Council, this brings us to our regular council meeting. The time is now 7 PM. We just completed a roundtable. All council members are present except for Councilmember Johnson, who has been excused from tonight's council meeting. Council, please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Benson, would you please lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It brings us to our first item is to approve the agenda. Council, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Cotton. Is there any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
So last council meeting exposed the opportunity for, I'll term miscreants with ill intent, too much time in their hands, and I assume inattentive parents for juvenile entertainment to the detriment of the city's business and our duty to the citizens. In an effort to encourage more individually beneficial time pursuits and to not allow this opportunity, I would like to move tonight to disallow online comments and give the F&A committee and the council time to decide a path forward on public comments that allow these individuals other pursuits. May I have a second?
Second.
To move by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Christensen to suspend online comments, public comments this evening. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
I actually,
Okay, Councilor Vincent?
I've thought about this, and the only issue that I think we need to consider is whether or not there is value in a city council meeting for anonymous comment. Is that the point of our meetings? Is there a point in having anonymous comment in meetings? I mean, obviously, we're not deciding it now, but it's something to consider. Personally, I very much appreciate comments that are from our citizens that are our citizens are willing to stand by with their name and their likeness. So the question is whether or not anonymous comment is somehow of value in these proceedings. That's all I wanted to say.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
And just because of the danger there, again, I don't want to provide the opportunity we did last time. If an individual wants to provide anonymous comments, they can, our emails are out there. There's a council email. They can send us email all they want. And if they want to go through the effort of getting an anonymous email address, they're out there. But for us to facilitate as a broadcast mechanism to that, no. So I think it's very important that we get feedback from the community, anonymous and otherwise. There are mechanisms to do that. I just don't want to provide a mechanism to broadcast these juvenile things.
Any other comments or discussion? Okay, so the motion is to suspend online comments for this evening. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, it's unanimous to suspend online comments this evening. And back to the approval of the overall agenda. Any further discussion on the agenda? You see none? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? All right, the agenda is approved with modification. Right. Next item is we have two directors that we are going to looking for confirmation. Very exciting evening for us. First one is Director of Information Technology, Confirmation and Oath of Office. I'm asking for council confirmation of Fletcher LaCroix as the Director of Information Technology. And Fletcher has over 20 years experience in the information technology field with his most recent experience in the Snoqualmie Valley School District. He has managed numerous projects, software resources, infrastructure, and a team that will be and he will be a great asset to our IT department. Council, may I have a motion to confirm Fletcher LaCroix as the Information Technology Director?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And I believe Mayor Pro Tem Holloway participated in the interviews. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Right, so it's unanimous. Congratulations
Yeah.
to our IT Director. Yay. You'd like to say, well, actually, let's do the oath of office and then you can say a few words. Okay.
Thank you.
So repeat after me. So I, say your name,
So I, Fletcher LaCroix, or you can say La Flèche Lacroix, if you're French,
having been duly appointed to the Office of Information Technology Director for the City of Snoqualmie, Washington,
have been duly appointed to the office, or, sorry, it's a little different on here. Can you repeat that?
you can read what it said there.
Okay. Yeah, duly appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council of the city of Snoqualmie to the Office of Information Technology Director.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability,
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability,
and that I will support and maintain the ordinances of the City of Snoqualmie
and that I will support and maintain the ordinances of the city of Snoqualmie
and the laws and Constitution of the State of Washington and of the United States of America.
and the laws and Constitution of the state of Washington and United States of America.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me join your organization. I've learned a lot in the last 6 days. Since today's day. My goal is to make improvements. I'm not looking to change everything right off the top. I'm going to learn and I'm going to make improvements in the team, either grow the team or look for services as well. Because right now we're short a little bit, but what I've came into, I'm actually really impressed what they've done with the limited amount of people here to support you guys and to support all our workers here. So thanks for having me. I'm excited to keep things moving forward.
Thank you.
Pictures.
Oh, usually.
And the next one is our Parks and Public Works Director, confirmation oath of office. So I'm asking for council confirmation of Jeff Hamlin as the Parks and Public Works Director. So Jeff started with the city in 2017 as a city engineer and has over 30 years of professional engineering experience. In 2022, Jeff became the Assistant Director of Parks and Public Works and has made improvements to the department's organizational structure, operating procedures, oversight, and has done many of our projects. And I'm excited that we are promoting from within. We have a quality candidate here. And, I think it was like 24 candidates or applicants. And Councilor Watton and Cotton and Councilor Benson were part of the selection team. So congratulations. And may I have a motion to approve Jeff Hamlin?
So moved.
Seconded.
Was moved by Councilor Cotton and seconded by Councilor Benson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Right, it's unanimous. Congratulations to our new Parks and Public Works Director. I, say your name,
I, Jeff Hamlin,
have been duly appointed to the Office of Parks and Public Works Director for the City of Snoqualmie, Washington,
having been duly appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the City Council of the City of Snoqualmie to the Office of Parks and Public Works Director for the City of Snoqualmie, Washington.
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability.
That I will support and maintain the ordinances of the City of Snoqualmie and the laws and Constitution of the State of Washington and the United States of America.
And that I will support and maintain the ordinances of the City of Snoqualmie and the laws and Constitution of the State of Washington and of the United States of America.
Excellent. Congratulations.
You say age before beauty.
No violence.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we'll provide time for residents to comment on items not on the agenda. First, a few ground rules. Snoqualmie residents who are not present have the right to have their elected representatives perform their duties on behalf of the city in an efficient, orderly manner. So comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please wait to be recognized and state your name and city of residence. Direct comments to the council as a whole and not to individual members. Please note that this is not a time to ask questions of council, mayor, or staff, or to engage in debate. And public comments during this portion of the meeting shall be limited to topics concerning current, future, or requested city projects, actions, programs, plans, and regulations. Comments not pertaining to these subject matters are not germane and may result in your comments being suspended. At last, please respect the decorum of these proceedings. So with that, would anyone like to speak to any concern that is not on the agenda this evening? If so, please raise your hand. Right. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. So moving on to the consent agenda, which contains the approval of the city council meeting minutes dated March 25th, 2024, approve the claims reported dated April 8th, 2024, and approve the AB 24045 Meadowbrook Farm Governance ILA. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Christensen. Is there any public comment regarding any of these items that are on this agenda, consent agenda? Seeing none, is there any, council, is there any discussion? All right. All those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, it's unanimously approved. Move on to ordinances. The first ordinance this evening is AB 24-026. Ordinance amending SMC chapters 2.06, 2.08, 211, 212, 216, and 222, and repealing chapters 210 and 256. This is the first reading of ordinance 1287. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the introduction?
Staff has been working to update and streamline the commission handbook. Those changes have resulted in the need to update the Snoqualmie Municipal Code to clarify, add, and delete sections for each of the advisory bodies, which will now be made consistent through the handbook except where otherwise required by state law. In addition, this proposal includes the repeal of 2 chapters in the SMC, which are obsolete: the Library Advisory Board and the Economic Development Corporation. And no motion tonight. This is just for introduction.
Is there any public comment regarding this ordinance? Seeing none. Council, do you have any discussion regarding this? All right. So this was the first, okay,
Yeah.
Councilor Cotton.
Was it going to be, I think reading through the appendixes, there was, wasn't it, E, which I thought would be for the Civil Service Commission, but it had as a heading, it said, Police Department Regular.
Right, and that's how it is in the code.
Is
That's how
that,
it's
oh, is
listed.
that how
Yeah.
it's in the code? Okay.
Yes, I
Sorry.
saw that too. Sorry. Any other questions or comments regarding this ordinance? Great. Seeing none, the second reading of the ordinance is scheduled for April 22nd. Next item is committee reports. Is there a public safety committee report?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a brief one. First of all, there is going to be for the fire department an accreditation visit April 24th and 25th. Exciting news. The deputy chief applications will come to a close on April 15th. And the first interviews will be conducted May 6th. And that is it from the Public Safety Committee.
Excellent. Thank you. First item of Community Development Committee is the AB 24-042 Transportation Element. Councilmember Washington, would you please read the introduction and motion?
Yes, so introduction. The transportation element was the third of 6 comprehensive plan elements to be reviewed by the City Council as part of the Comprehensive Plan Periodic Review Update 2044. The council has expressed a desire to acknowledge the draft work completed to date as part of an ongoing review process. And the proposed action, move to accept the council roundtable edits on the transportation element goal and policy shown in Exhibit 1 as part of an ongoing review of the City Comprehensive Plan Periodic Review Update 2044, subject to integration and harmonization with the other comprehensive plan elements under review.
Second.
So it's moved by Councilor Washington, second by Councilor Watton. Councilor, is there any discussion regarding this? So these were reviewed during the March 11th and March 25th roundtable meetings. Do you have any questions? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? All right, it's unanimous, and our transportation element of the comprehensive plan has passed. Thank you. Next item is, well, yes, anything further for community development? Any other comments?
Not at this time.
Great, thank you, Councilor Washington. Finance Administration, we have AB 24 or AB 24-023, Commission and Committee Handbook. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the introduction?
The Commission and Committee handbook to be known as, has been updated to provide more consistent process and procedures and to establish a standard core of conduct across all city of Snoqualmie commissions and committees. But beware, I mean, this is for our review and discussion and feedback to administration. This is really in their realm of responsibility, but it's a good time for collaboration. So if you haven't already, please take an opportunity to read through it and provide mayor and city clerk and city administrator any feedback you have. Or if you have feedback tonight.
So it provides consistency across all commissions and committees, clarifying attendance, preparation, restrictions, requirements, the elections of chair, and reinforces the ethics policy and provides a guideline for agendas. So it helps to be more consistent across, like I said, each of the commissions and committees. So if you have feedback, if you want to email those to us, unless you have any comments this evening, we would like to publish it probably by the end of next week. Councilor Watton?
There are just a couple very small tweaks. One is, and I read this quickly, so I didn't read it in detail. So if it's there, forgive me. First comment is, we just need to make sure that it's emphasized that the appointments are by the mayor and confirmed by the council. I think that's the first one. The second one, and maybe it's in here, I didn't see it, but we've always had this thing about balance between residents and, for instance, on the EDC, people that have a business interest in Snoqualmie. So just making sure that we specify that the balance of each commission or committee has to have a majority of people that actually live here. I think that's really important. So if it's in there, great. If otherwise, just a footnote.
Yeah, and a
on
lot of that is actually in the code.
It's in the code.
Right.
Okay,
Right,
thank you.
it's in there. And then also, I think the confirmation by council, it applies everywhere except for civil service. And then you'll get it, you don't get
Okay,
it confirmed civil service. And so that's also, I believe, in the code.
okay,
we will
it's in
confirm
the
that.
code. Maybe in the hand, I don't know. Just.
Right.
And then the third comment, and that is, there was kind of, it was in the kind of preamble, the very third sentence. And it's like, and have some knowledge in the field. I think maybe that could use a little wordsmithing to expertise, because really people bring expertise to the
It's where do you?
forefront. That it's the third paragraph on page 1, I think. Just maybe kind of a retuning of.
Is it under the mayor's message or somewhere else?
It's in the third sentence. It's the first sentence, the end of the first sentence. And those would be my only comments.
Okay, we'll find it.
Some knowledge, I have knowledge of history museums, but don't expect me to put a history museum together.
Oh, I see. Okay. Councilor Washington?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, my question is just around the removal piece. So, and again, this may be in the code. I'm not as familiar with the code. But the Civil Service Commission and the Planning Commission cannot be, commissioners cannot be removed without cause unless they're given written notice and an opportunity for public hearing on the grounds of removal. My question would be, is that in the code? Or is there any reason maybe, will we want to extend this to all the commissioners?
So I think that's actually state code
The state
for
code,
those
okay.
two.
So that is in the code and those are according to state law.
Okay, okay. What, sorry, follow-up question. What is the process? Well, I guess it's already defined. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Man, I'm glad we didn't have these requirements to become council.
Well, there are requirements.
There are,
Yes. So,
and
so at least you went through the rest of this week and then we'll probably publish this next week. So if you have any additional comments, or please email those to us and we will incorporate. So thank you. Next item is AB 24-038 proclamation policy. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the introduction again?
All right, this policy is intended to provide guidance on city proclamations and will create and streamline a process for registrars or requesters. Sorry. Okay. And really, based on F&A review, at least as chair in the FNA, proclamations are really the responsibility of the administration. So I didn't want to get too deep into this. But I do, again, this is an opportunity for us to provide some feedback. I think it's good to put guidelines out there and streamline the process under which this can occur, which is the intent here. But I don't want us having to approve proclamations that the mayor wants to do. We may endorse if you want, but I don't think you have to have us to approve them.
Anyone have, and that's fine. Anyone have any input on the proclamation policy? Councilor Benson.
Well, I think we're fortunate in that we have a perfectly reasonable mayor right now. If we had an insane one, what would our recourse be if they were proclaiming left and right ridiculous things?
I'm not sure. I'd have
Pro
to go
Tem
look
Holloway?
at- I'm not sure. I'd have to go look at the city of, I think it was Pacifica, which got.
Oh, I'm not
themselves
doing what
into that.
Pacifica's
They
doing.
had got into that situation, so I.
So the situation, it's not,
That's a legal discussion, okay?
Right.
I'm.
all right, City Attorney Linehan.
City Attorney Soto tonight, who's online.
Okay, all right.
Question for her?
Hi, I'm filling in for David Linehan tonight. I'm Anne Marie Soto. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Councilor.
Yeah,
Benson- Benson
so
or-
the proposal is to take a hands-off approach to proclamations.
Mhm.
That's the mayor's purview is the idea that I'm getting. And my only question would be, what would the council's, if the council disagreed with a proclamation that was being made, the mayor is making the proclamation on behalf of the city. What would the recourse be if the mayor was making a proclamation that we felt was unacceptable for the city to be endorsing?
Mhm. That's a really good question. I would have to do some research on that topic to see. I don't believe there's anything specific in the RCW about proclamations and the authority to make proclamations, but I would want to consult with the RCW before opining with any sort of authority on that particular topic. I can look into that for you and follow up, or if you give me a few minutes, I can look to see if there's anything I can find quickly online right now.
I think it'd be useful for us just to know. I know that as councilman, we always have the opportunity to make declarations, and I do declare that's a stupid proclamation or something like that. But I would just be concerned if we didn't have some kind of recourse.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway.
So the attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's kind of two recourses. One, in the same meeting, the council could motion for sense of the council or motion of a position of the council in disagreement. Okay, and we could take a vote and disagree. The other part is attorneys advise me if this is not you, Mayor. But if we were to have a mayor such as Pacifica did at one time, there may be an opportunity for the council to say, we're just not going to do proclamations as a city. But I'd have to have legal advice whether we can actually do that or not. I think we could, but I don't think we're headed there anytime soon.
I don't think we are either, just to be clear.
Just a 4-3 vote.
Okay.
We're not gonna
You
do
want to mention that?
proclamation.
So
Councilor Christensen?
I was just gonna say, since it doesn't sound like that's an issue that's currently before this council or the city, I don't know that we want to be directing legal counsel to be doing additional hours of research. Right, so I would just throw that out there that it may not be necessary to do
Never
additional
mind.
research at this juncture.
But
Good, but never mind.
so City Clerk Dean,
I was just gonna make a comment that under paragraph 5 or section 5.7 of the council rules of procedure, it does address proclamations. And since we'll be reviewing our council rules here shortly, maybe we could address it then.
Okay.
Anne Marie Soto?
So I was just gonna throw out that probably need to check your council rules of procedure, which I don't have a copy of handy with me right now. But just a very quick cursory search of the RCWs regarding mayor council forms of government. There's nothing in those statutes that is specific to proclamations. So this is really something that would be best governed by your rules of procedure to determine how City of Snoqualmie wants to handle these types of matters.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. I think we're looking at updating our rules of procedures, and so we will probably address it in that way. So thank you, Anne Marie. Does that sound fine? Right. Right. Okay, moving on. Anything further for F&A?
No further report.
Any report for Parks and Public Works Committee?
Nothing to report. We went over the new NPDES guidelines. It was a pretty late meeting this last week, so nothing special to report.
Great, thank you. So next item is Committee of the Whole Council Open House. So, or Town Hall discussion. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, do you want to kick this off?
Okay. I apologize. Busy weekend and we all had, so I don't have new material for us to discuss, but we did have a discussion during our retreat of kind of doing a split on the council open house of having the first part, at least informational, some specific subjects, and then the second half of it thereabouts to be open conversational with public that may be there, which led me to the question of so for that first part, what would be the specific items we would like to bring forward? Because I assume we're gonna have to lean on staff to say, hey, try and want some material done up on this subject. And maybe somebody who actually knows it beyond us to actually get up and talk it before the audience that shows up. So any particular, I think we've probably had plenty of discussions on the community center. Might be good to get to other subject matters as part of the council open house. And I suspect when we get an open forum, the community center will come up. It's a natural occurrence. So other items for discussion?
Councilor Bitson?
I think it would be really interesting to have a levels of service discussion with citizens. With the amount that costs are increasing for all sorts of things, to have some sense of what citizens feel are appropriate levels of service. We have our police, our fire, we have our waste management, and it would be important for me to have a good understanding of exactly what citizens expect from each of those services, because we can't pay for everything.
Okay.
Also considering the fact that we have a tax coming up on the ballot as well, that seems like a topical conversation.
Okay. Any other ideas or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
No, I just, legal counsel, it brings up,
Mhm.
why are we doing that tax? But legal counsel, I guess I need to advise, if we've already said we want to go to vote on that, is it appropriate to discuss it in an open forum such as that as a council? Or best said, here are the points, it's up to you, the community, to decide this matter from here.
Is that a question for Anne Marie?
Yeah, well, and it may be a homework assignment versus an off the cuff.
I do appreciate homework assignments rather than off the cuff, particularly when we're in an open session, and any legal advice that I give in an open session could potentially be waived by me providing that in the open session. So if this is something you would like us to look into, I think that might be a better option.
Yeah, just give me some advice in email. No, it's not this is not a term paper, just a single question assignment. If we could do the homework analogy.
And our regular attorney will be back on Monday as well. So if you want.
Correct.
Okay.
If you want it during F&A or.
Okay, we can take that discussion definitely, but I just, because it's a present matter, maybe that's one of the subjects, but I need to understand if we can even have that as one of the subjects other than it's coming.
Okay. Any other ideas?
For future ideas,
Councilor Washington?
yes, for future ideas and discussion topics, should we get them over to the F&A committee chair?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And do better than that, get it to the F&A committee members.
Okay.
By when? Before next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
I may win the lotto and then I won't show up. So we get it to the committee.
Somebody already won it.
Right. Any other comments? Okay. Next item is the mayor's report. And so, first of all, we had a successful council retreat on Saturday. It was facilitated by Andrew Ballard of Marketing Solutions. I thought he did a great job working with us. And Emily Artecha gave the presentation on economic vitality and different opportunities for the city. And then our city administrator, Mike Chambliss, presented on accomplishments and work plan. And I'd like to thank our city clerk, Dean, for organizing the event. So, council had an in-depth discussion on council priorities, goals, and objectives, and I think it was successful overall. And we will have a draft coming out probably this week that we'll send to you with the updates. There is a town hall coming, meeting with King County Councilmember Sarah Perry on April 18th at the library. So hopefully you'll be able to attend. And then we have volunteer recognition on April 24th. And so hopefully you will also plan to attend that. And then we had emergency proclamation 24-02 declared on January 17th, 2024, and it has been rescinded and terminated on April 1st, just to give you an update.
Was it really April 1st?
Yes. Along with Trader Joe's. Yes. Okay. Next item is any commission committee liaison reports. Councilor Christensen.
All right, I have a few. The YMCA is hosting Healthy Kids Day at the Snoqualmie Community Center on April 20th. It is a national YMCA initiative and an annual free event that is open to any members of the community as well as members at the Y. The next PIC meeting for SCA is Wednesday from 7 to 9 online. If anyone would like the link, let me know. They'll be discussing, but not voting on public defender caseload standards. They'll be providing an update on the Regional Homeless Authority update and the Emergency Medical Services levy renewal, as well as King County Metro's free youth transit pass. Now, for the public defender caseload schedules, if anybody had a chance to read the city administrator's email, they are proposing, among other things, a reduction in the public defender's caseload of 2/3. Which I can understand wanting to have a decreased caseload as someone who used to be an attorney. However, the difficulty for cities and the county is who's going to pay for it, right? As well as the fact that it may also not be feasible because we don't necessarily have an existing workforce from which we can draw. If you have comments on that, there will be 2 listening sessions, one before the next council on April 22nd at 4 p.m. or on May 10th. And I can give additional information for anyone who's interested. For the free youth transit passes, just as a heads up, anyone who's under 18 can ride for free on King County Metro services by using a youth Orca card, showing a student ID, or just getting on to go.
So they wanted us to flag that so that children in the community could know. That's it. Great. Thank you. Councilor Cotton.
I just came from the Arts Commission meeting, and the next activity, there will be some more artwork on display here in the next few weeks here at City Hall. The next event is going to be the Art Off the Rails. So the June 15th, and it will be between Snoqualmie and North Bend depots. The train will be running back and forth, and there will be artists with showing their skills, as well as having vendors with artwork for sale and things like that. There will be live music, food trucks, and just a chance for everyone to enjoy. We'll be seeing some advertising and flyers and such coming out. I believe it's already on the city website. And then they have other events coming up, plein air in July. And I don't know if there's going to be a fall event or not. The Snoqualmie Days Committee, we had a meeting this morning. The Snoqualmie Days is happening the Friday and Saturday, August 16th and 17th. So the Friday night will be a music crawl and in the downtown area. And then Saturday, there will be, as you guys probably already know, all the events that go on, but things still happening, pancake breakfast, parade, all the booths and vendors and other things. The Medic One EMS Advisory Task Force. I was just at the BLS subcommittee meeting, and they're going over the metrics for, keeping how they're raising the levy the same, or if they're going to incorporate different routes. So it'll be a monthly meeting for the rest of the year on that. And then Snoqualmie Valley Hospital District, there's some rebranding going on. Specifically, they'll be unveiling a new logo, which is pretty cool. So I won't do the no spoiler alerts.
Spoilers.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Cotton. Any other? Councilor Watton.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Wednesday, April 3rd, was the Snoqualmie Valley Housing Task Force, or monthly chat. We had the Department of Commerce on, and Mayor Ross attended, as well as Mona Davis. She's the Community Development Director for Black Diamond, and James Henderson, the Economic Development Director for North Bend. We had 6 folks from the Department of Commerce, and for them, it was a lot of listening to our challenges in a rural community that lacks metro service, that lacks supportive services that are needed. We talked about size and scale and the challenges we have as being a car-dependent community here and elsewhere. And we just simply don't have the infrastructure. We certainly have the will, we have the need for workforce housing when 80% of the workforce between North Bend and Snoqualmie commutes in out of 10,000 people. The need is real, but the other challenge is the financing options are so limited, and it makes it incredibly challenging to get some of the lower interest loans. You have to be building at 60% AMI or lower, and that makes it challenging. The other one is we need density. We need 100 units or more, and we can barely scratch that together here in other communities. It's just not possible. A lot of what we're looking at is infill. So it was a very good listening session. I appreciate the fact that Christopher Lovings, Kirsten Jewell, and Fritzel, Laura Hodgson, Ted Venegas, and Annalita Nunez were on that call from the Department of Commerce. or in person in the case of Chris Lovings. So, you know, it's this give and take that we need more of, and that's why councils matter, we matter. We need to make sure that that word gets up to the other levels that are setting policy. And when we go to look at those policies, not take them at face value, say, you know, we want to meet that, but there needs to be another path forward. And that was part of the discussion, and there'll be an ongoing discussion. So those meetings are open to anyone in the public. They happen 12 to 1 p.m. on the first Wednesday down in North Bend at Umpqua Bank. So there's that. Thank you much.
Thank you. Any other updates? All right, turn it over to our city administrator, Chambliss, on update of the monthly department reports.
So March was a busy month. We had 40,000 page views on our website. Top pages were the standard Twin Peaks and Snoqualmie Falls, but we also had the Easter egg hunts as one of those top pages. The rest of the time, communications was supporting that video that you saw at the last meeting, the State of the City video. The community development team issued 28 permits in the month. They've have, you know, updates on their land use planning, but I'm going to jump ahead and highlight a couple things. There's a new economic development push downtown. You may have seen some blue umbrellas spread about, and that's Nicole's Explore Snoqualmie Rain or Shine effort. So they are branded umbrellas, and if they drift off somewhere else, they're still advertising Snoqualmie. The teen flashlight hunt went on the evening of March 29th. There were 250 to 300 teens. Nicole felt a little overwhelmed, actually. And the goodies were swept up in 1.5 seconds. If you've never been out to the flashlight hunt, candy bars and sodas and everything are spread out over about an acre. And then the kids are sent out there with flashlights in the dark to find them all and pick them all up. And they pick it all up. And then we had our traditional egg hunt, which was attended by about 600 kids. And they scooped up 13,000 eggs in about 3 minutes. Lots of people stuck around to take pictures with the Easter Bunny and the mayor. It was a great event. And then downtown, the Downtown Association handed out another 4,000 eggs. So I think the eggs were distributed on the 29th. Fire department had 135 calls in March. 47% were EMS and 53% were fire service related calls. And the human resource department, they are participating in the Tiger team for the ERP program to try to get stuff on track with the payroll program. So there's another intensive session starting tomorrow, right? True, I think it's tomorrow or Thursday, where the local talent's going to be coming in to work with them. They are, I believe, up to stage 3 of the audit, and moving on to stage 4. So things are progressing there. And then recruitment wise, I just want to recognize the fact that Kim has got us a full slot of department heads, which was a huge accomplishment. I think she's brought in 10 people for this month. So Kim is knocking it out. Negotiations are continuing with the police association. And then our police department stats are in there. Our thefts seem to have gone up a little bit from last year, while vehicle issues have gone down. And in North Bend, the thefts and vehicle issues have gone down. So there's a ton of information in here. I encourage you all to mine it for all that's being provided.
All right, thank you. So now we're going to move on to executive sessions. So executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101AI to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions or discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. And how long do you think the first one will last?
Yeah, probably 10 or 15.
We'll say 10 minutes. Then we have a closed session pursuant to RCW 42.30.1404B for the planning or adoption of a strategy or position to be taken during the course of any collective bargaining proceedings or reviewing the proposals made in the negotiations or proceedings lasting about, how long are we doing? 30 minutes. Those attending both sessions will include our interim city attorney, Anne Marie Soto, city administrator, Mike Chambliss, and director of finance, Doug Boutte. And we will start off with a 5-minute recess and we'll reconvene here. And we have an executive session online link, but there will be no action is anticipated following conclusion of the executive session or closed session. So council will adjourn directly from the executive session and not return to open session. The city clerk will be informed of the concluding time for the executive sessions, which will be reflected in the meeting minutes. So with that, I think we will be, should be completed by probably 8:35. And if we go a little bit longer, we will be extending. So, right. So we will recess, 5-minute recess, and then we'll join online to the executive session. And the 3 people that are remaining that will be online. Yes.
Here.
Yeah, we'll just stay here. Okay. So we will get out of our current meeting and then we'll join the new link. You should have in your email. So thank you, everyone.